With a 20-year reputation for clean business, Matt Glynn at Code Property Group is the first choice for real estate on the Sunshine Coast and surrounding areas. I've known Matt for a very long time from a personal level and professional level, and he is an excellent real estate agent. He's professional, he holds a high level of integrity, he presents incredibly well, and has a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to the real estate industry. So if you are in the market to buy, sell, or simply get a valuation and find out more about your current property, then give Matt a call on 0404 315 066 or matt.glynn, GLYNN at codepg.com. You won't be disappointed. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. I hope you are well. I hope you are having an amazing day, as I am as well. So, this week I wanted to chat about age. Now, the reason, well, not one of the reasons, but many a reason. I'm getting on in years. I'm 3 years shy of 50. Many would argue that I don't look like it, and I take that as a compliment. I certainly feel like it from time to time with 3 teenage kids, and just I guess the things that come along with age in terms of your body just getting a little bit slower, not as much flexibility. Maybe the odd cognitive process being a little bit slower as well. Things like that just start to catch up with you just that little bit more. It is noticeable, and one thing I do know, and I know this factually based on not only the research and evidence that's out there, but also my own knowledge in the space, and that is you're not too old. You can't blame age for your body breaking down. Now, you can do a lot of things to prevent it, and that's the thing. As a society, we're very reactive. We're not preventative. So what we tend to do is, something happens and we'll go, okay, well, I need to go see a doctor. Okay, I need to go get some medicine. Okay, I need to go see a physio. There's no efficiency or forward thinking around being proactive when it comes to avoiding these things. And a lot of the issues we have as human beings when it comes to health is very avoidable. It really is avoidable. It's very preventable, and it's very manageable as well. Like some things, sure, pop up unforeseen. You hadn't planned for it. You didn't expect it to happen. That's fine. But when it comes to age and the body breaking down and the body getting slower and the body getting weaker in particular, and that's what I want to focus today's chat on, you can avoid that. You often see the older demographic now really struggling in terms of mobility, in terms of just general movement. Lifestyle becomes a lot harder. Daily function and daily activity is a lot more challenging. They're relying on others or assisted devices, and that's typical because go back to their youth, they didn't know the importance of what we have now in terms of resistance training, in terms of nutrition, in terms of activity, in terms of cardiovascular health. These sorts of things weren't prevalent. They weren't pushed on us. Back then, and I'm talking probably 30, 40, even 50 years ago, their idea of health was, going for a run, maybe, playing a bit of sport, maybe a swim, and then, diet was nowhere near as complex or confusing as it is now. But there was no emphasis on protein. There was no emphasis on carbohydrates or fats. It was basically just, meat and 3 veg. That was the simplicity of it. And look, that still carries merit today. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot more, there's a lot more detail around that now. And that's what I wanted to go through today. So we can't blame age. Often, and this is the thing, and this is what annoys me so much, doctors tend to normalize weakness. If you go to the doctor and say, look, I'm feeling really fatigued, I'm feeling really weak, and you're like my age, they'll generally say, well, it's just aging. It's just your body getting older. That's not acceptable. That is not an acceptable option, because you can still prevent that feeling. You can stop your body from getting weak by simply lifting weight on a regular basis. It's as simple as that. You're not losing muscle. You're not getting weaker. You're stopping, or you haven't started. That's the biggest thing. If you haven't started, get your backside to the gym. If you stopped 3, 4, 5 years ago, get back into it. It is the biggest prevention of aging. That's the thing. It is the biggest prevention of aging. If you continually resistance train now until the end of time for you, you'll probably last another 10 years. Your body will not slow down. Your body will not get weaker. And it's something that doctors should be aware of and should be prescribing, basically. Like, a lot of ailments, illnesses, injuries, mental health issues can be solved, and I mean that, can be solved through regular weight training, through regular attendance in the gym. It is amazing how much of an impact, a positive impact, weight training can have. You know, muscle is metabolic, and I've said this before, and this is very, very commonly stated in the industry, because it does a lot of things. It controls our insulin, it controls our hormones, it controls our strength, and it obviously controls our recovery. But more so than that, it also enables us to eat a regular and decent amount of food. And when I say food, obviously from a calorie perspective, your muscle is like your body's engine, okay? The engine uses fuel. Your body uses fuel, okay? The bigger the engine, the more fuel it needs. The more muscle you've got, the more fuel you can consume. You know, this is a really positive byproduct of just regularly training with weight and regularly getting stronger. You know, you lose your muscle if you stop weight training, or if you don't weight train, or if there's no element of resistance-based training in your lifestyle. Your body can fall apart. It can break down. You can get weaker. You can lose your posture. Your mobility goes to shit. Your joints start to stress out. Like, it is such a prevalent thing that is so common, particularly, as I said, in the older demographic now. But it can be prevented. You know, I'm 47 years of age. In 40 years' time, I'm probably looking to retire or move into a retirement home, or I'll have grandkids and all these sorts of things. I want to make sure that I am strong. I want to make sure that I am mobile. I will still be going to the gym. You can mark my word on that, unless I'm 6 feet under, which shouldn't happen. So, you know, unfortunately, and this is the kicker, right? You get weaker in your later ages. Muscle loss is not diagnosed. The doctors are not going to say, well, clearly you've lost muscle, so that's why you're weaker. There's no test for that unless you're working with, say, a coach who can obviously monitor your body composition, or you get regular DEXA scans or something along those lines. But, you know, when you're frail, when you're in pain, when your body feels broken, the doctor will medicate. He will say, okay, well, here's a prescription, go and get this. Here's a prescription to go and test for this. Here's a referral to go and see this specialist. They're not going to say, go and lift weight. But I'm here to tell you, the evidence shows, and it's conclusive, that you can prevent a lot of these issues, feeling frail, getting pain, broken body, by simply getting stronger. You get stronger, you make your body bulletproof. It's that simple. It is that simple. And yes, you can clearly hear the passion in my voice, because I know this for a fact. Like, I watch my parents and I can see how frail they're getting, because they were never given the education around weight training. Now, I've been at my mum in particular for years and years and years now. She doesn't listen to this podcast, but if word gets back to her, she'll agree that she knows I've been saying to her for years and years and years that she needs to strength train. And she dabbled in it for a little bit, but it's not her cup of tea. And look, I respect that. And that's fine. If that is your decision, that is your decision. But when it comes to health, if you know what you can do, what you can physically do, which doesn't take up a lot of time, and it's certainly not expensive. What's an average gym membership? $15 a week? If that is what you need to do, and if I came to you and said, right, if I said to you in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, 50 years' time, you have one of two options. You can train 3 days a week now, regular training, resistance-based training, or you can not. But option A and outcome A is going to be that you're stronger, you're more mobile, you're healthier in 50 years' time, or you're more frailer, you're weaker, you're potentially more susceptible to colds, flus, and illness and mental health conditions. What option do you take? 99.999% of the population that would get interviewed for that particular question would opt for option A. They will gladly strength train 3 days a week because of that outcome. So why are people not doing it? It baffles me. It really baffles me. You know, again, I've got nothing against cardio, and I say this in most of my content, most of my podcasts, most of my YouTube videos, whatever it is that you're listening to. I will continually say cardio has its place. It is really important for a number of factors. But when we're talking about longevity, when we're talking about aging with strength, we have to do resistance-based training, not a body pump class, Okay, resistance-based training on the gym floor. Okay, muscle declines 3 to 8% per decade after 30. So if you're there listening now and you're 35 and you haven't weight trained, chances are you've lost about 5% of your muscle mass just through aging. Okay, older than that, like I'm 47, so I'm 17 years past 30, so I potentially would have lost around 10 or 12% of muscle. But you know what, I've actually put it on, and I know I've put it on because I've been weight training ridiculously hard and consistently for the past 12 years. So I know that my frame is in really good condition. I will continue to do so. I don't care if I'm feeling crap. I don't care if I'm overtired. I don't care if I'm fatigued. I don't care if I'm not in the mood. I'm still going to the gym, okay? I've made it part of my lifestyle, so it will not change. You can reverse that muscle decline, okay? That 3 to 5% per decade, you can reverse it. But you have to implement resistance-based training. You have to do that, and you have to do it now. So go and see a gym. Go talk to a personal trainer. Get an online coach. There are so many services available now. We are at the epicenter of health and fitness being so available to so many people. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, you see those wild videos of people training in Africa with buckets of cement and timber barbells and all those sorts of things, because they're training. They're into it. Same with there's videos, a similar thing with gyms and outdoor gyms in Mexico, where they're lifting hunks of timber and stuff like that as resistance. People find a way. So in Australia in particular, I know this podcast goes internationally, but in Australia in particular, we are very lucky and very privileged to have amazing facilities. Some of the gyms in Australia are some of the best in the world. They have top-line equipment. Their facility and infrastructure is amazing. The staff are amazing. The knowledge is second to none. So there's no reason not to do this, you know. And as I said, there should be an element of fear sitting in you going, oh my God, if okay, I'm 40 now, in 10 years time, I'm going to lose another potential 8% of my muscle mass. Therefore, I'm getting weaker. So you have to reverse it. You have to take action now. Strength isn't about aesthetics. It's about survival. And I think that's taboo. It's morbid. It's, sure, it's a little bit dark and whatever, but it's the truth. It is factual. Muscle is the difference between independence and assisted living, and that is a true statement. You can have independence until the day you die if you are strong and continue to maintain your strength. Sure, things might have to change in terms of the way you train. That's fine. I understand that. You know, there may be limitations in terms of what you can lift, how you lift, etc. But there's no reason why you have to stop. Okay? Do you want to be in assisted living? Do you want to be pushed around in a wheelchair? Do you want someone to have to help you go to the bathroom and shower every single day? Like, to me, that sounds humiliating. And I understand some people have to do it, and I respect that. And I totally respect the people who do that job. But if you're in the age bracket now between 30 and 40, 30 to 50, somewhere around there, even younger, you've got an opportunity, an amazing opportunity to change the course of your life by simply introducing or implementing an increase in resistance-based training, in strength training, going to the gym and lifting weights. That is an undeniable fact, and it can have a profound impact on where you are right now. Let's remove the long-term benefits. Let's look at the short-term benefits as well. Okay, if you're suffering from mental health concerns, or if you're in a bit of depression, or if you've got high anxiety, get your backside to the gym. I can tell you right now, that can have a profound effect on the way you think and act from a positive perspective. Okay? Put some muscle mass on your body. Drop your body weight in terms of body fat reduction. Improve your physique and your aesthetics, and all of a sudden your confidence goes up. You start to be noticed more by the opposite sex, or you just got confidence in the workplace, or you're just walking a little bit taller. Like, how good is that for your mental health? Let alone all the other benefits in terms of bone density, muscle mass, obviously, as I mentioned in the earlier stages of this podcast. Your metabolic performance increases, therefore you're going to be able to eat more food. So you can maintain your weight a lot better because you're strength training. Body recomposition changes, your joints improve in terms of strength. Your cognitive function, your cognitive ability to process and think more clearly is off the charts. So by regularly strength training, your ability to think better and clearer goes through the roof. So you can become a more efficient worker, whatever you do for a living. You can become better at it. You can be more time managed. You can manage your life a lot better. Who, listening to this, raise your hand, and I know I can see no one. Raise your hand in terms of someone who said, I just don't have time. I don't have time. And you've used that as an excuse for a facet of things. Well, by strength training and clearing your mind up of all that clutter that sits in your head and causes anxiety and the overwhelming sensation, by strength training, you can remove a lot of that, therefore think more clearly and manage your time more effectively. Therefore, that excuse is irrelevant moving forward. So it's amazing what it can do. Muscle is medicine. I say that again. Muscle is medicine. But no one's going to hand it to you. That's the thing. And that's why a lot of people are put off by it, because you've got to work fucking hard at it. It is a ridiculously hard thing to maintain and do, because resistance-based training really tests you. It is hard. It is heavy. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It gets you out of your comfort zone. The stimulus from a high rep set on any particular exercise is ridiculously uncomfortable to the point of agonizing in some instances. If you're doing 15 reps on a leg press at an RPE 8, well, guess what? Your legs are going to be burning. But you know what? You can learn to embrace it and you can learn to love it. As I said, muscle is medicine. No one's going to hand it to you. Doctors do not prescribe it. Insurance doesn't cover it. You have to build it yourself. So I think I've made my point. So look, if anyone has any questions about how to get started, like I know that's one of the biggest issues out of everything. Like some people are already a member of a gym and maybe there's a lack of confidence going on the gym floor. I get that. And that can be worked over and worked through. You've just got to get out of your comfort zone and potentially work with someone to do that. But if you've never set foot in the gym, but this is something that you have been thinking about, it's something that you need to make a step forward and make that step in the right direction in terms of implementing that change and getting to the gym, reach out to me. I'm happy to chat to you privately to sort of work around it, because I've worked with so many people on so many different levels of fitness, having done this for over a decade, and many of them have been incredibly green, having never set foot in the gym. I've worked with people now who have never set foot in the gym, but I've walked them through the process. I've given them the assistance and the tools that they need to build confidence. And now some of them they're training 5 days a week with so much confidence, it's out of control, and they just love it. They feel guilty when they can't go to the gym. So isn't that a place you'd like to be? So look, going back to my original point, it is really, really important that firstly, we don't blame age. Secondly, we understand the importance of strength training. And thirdly, we don't wait and be reactive in terms of weakness and frailty and pain and broken bodies. Let's avoid all that now. Okay, let's get into it. Don't let your muscle mass decline over the years, particularly past the age of 30. Do something about it now. It's about survival. Okay, no one wants to be in assisted living if they can prevent it now. Take action. I'll finish up there. So thank you once again. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please screenshot and share it on your stories. Tag myself at Paul's Body Engineering. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, and we're on all other major platforms as well. We're on YouTube as well. So by all means, please like, subscribe, and follow along. Share it to someone who you think may get some benefit or knowledge or education out of it. But and of course, if you're interested in any of my coaching services, or if you just want to chat and reach out and find out more about what I do or what I've spoken about in this particular podcast, DM me, send me an email, or go to Paul's Body Engineering. I can't even say my own website, paulsbodyengineering.com. Go to the contact page and I'll be happy to respond. But in the meantime, as I say to every client, every single day, have a great day. Experience the difference with Matt Glynn at Code Property Group. With a 20-year reputation of a clean business, Matt is your guy when it comes to all things real estate. Make sure you give him a call now on 0404 315 066.